A tattoo to me is something that represents either a point in my life or a certain value that I hold dear.
So a tattoo to me, on myself, is more or less a timeline of different things that I've experienced from childhood to now.
Tattoos to me, they're kind of like scars. They remind you of everything you've done in the past. You know, a lot of times you'll forget a memory, but you'll never forget a tattoo.
To me, tattoos are just art. I've always wanted to have them. I think that in some ways it can be expressional. It can be like an expression of yourself or an expression of the fact you're an artist.
A tattoo is a personal choice. It's a way of permanently showing your respect or your hate for something.
Expression, basically a permanent art form that can't be destroyed no matter what.
How many tattoos do I have? You lose track after a while. I've been getting tattooed since I was 14. I'm 39 now.
Why do people wear clothes? I mean, it's something I like. I mean, I don't know how to explain it. I mean, some people go get their nails done, some people go shoe shopping. I like tattoos, it's just my thing.
I am an artist, but they are an artist the same, and I just let him do his thing.
I'm a very passionate person, so I would love to put that on my body, to let other people see it. Just to have the conversations with people. And when somebody asks me about it, I might get to tell a story and they get to know a little bit about me, and maybe I can learn a little bit about them.
Most of the tattoos that I get now are usually based on my childhood because it's reverting back to the things that made me happy back then, because as we get older, we tend to get bitter and just pissed off old people. I don't like being pissed off old. So I can't avoid the old factor, but I can avoid the pissed off part.
All my tattoos have special meanings. Like I said before, I'm a very passionate person. A lot of my tattoos revolve around music because music is my passion.
This is from Kyle Cotterman. This is, he did a cover up here, and then the rest of this is all one setting. Lon Chaney, my favorite artist, Paso Bobos, and this has very deep meaning, and I think I'm just going to leave this and not do anymore.
I've got a Steelers tattoo on my right leg of my grandma when she was born and when she died.
The tattoo on my collarbone says, "Won't face the fear of life without something abused." It's actually a song lyric from a punk band called Snot. And the lyrics personally, to me, represent basically my whole life and everything that the way I believe. I believe everybody needs something to get them through life, whether it's religion, music, drugs, for some. I'm not saying it's right, but it's just always been my thing.
A star on my wrist, it's a white star, which I got last year at the 100th anniversary of the Titanic sinking. Titanic was owned by White Star Cruise Lines. The reason for the White Star is because it's one of the biggest events in history of man's total fuck-up. So it's my little reminder that no matter how big you get sometimes in the world, do not think that you cannot go down just as quick as everything else.
I have a black clean chest piece with wings here. I'm making a story that has to revolve around chess, and me and my dad used to play chess all the time when we were little. He's been sick for a while, so I figured that would be a good thing for him and me.
This tattoo, it was my third tattoo that I'd ever had, and I was really, really brave in putting it all the way down on my lower arm where everybody can see it. And the reason why I went through with it was because I enlisted in National Guard, and I was a part of this lifestyle that I wasn't really sure how I felt about violence and war and gun control and everything else. I'm a little bit on the liberal side, so I kind of did this one to show both parts. It looks like a rifle with a whole bunch of bullet holes and some shells, but it actually makes a peace sign. And a lot of people ask me about it, like, "Oh, that's an M16, that's an AK-47 on your arm, what are you doing over here?" And I have to explain to everybody, no, it's actually a peace sign, and then they kind of pull back, like, "Oh yeah, I get it."
I got the word sober on my stomach, which is a music reference, as most of my tattoos are, from a band called Tool, which is just one of my all-time favorite bands. And sober in particular, I had a bad childhood with drugs and alcohol. I got into that a lot. I had a really bad addiction to cocaine for about 1.5 years. I died twice from alcohol poisoning. Eventually I got into some trouble with the law, but I finally got to a point in my life where I realized I didn't want to do that anymore, and I just quit everything, just cold turkey. So I got my sober tattoo actually the day that I got out of jail. It's kind of my final stamp on it, like, you know what, that's the last time. I was done with it.
I have a really big one on my back. That's from my friend Alex. He died when I was 5, and I didn't know about it for about 3 years. And so I finally got it done, and it's just my way of carrying with me all the time.
I think tattoos can also be negative, obviously. For example, this one right here, every time I look at it, I'm filled with disdain and anger because it's actually, it's a tattoo piece that says forever, and I got it with my husband before I divorced him, and now I have to find something to either cover it up or get removed.
The story behind the bird tattoo on my arm, I went through basic training when I was 17 and I turned 18 when I was gone, and I knew ever since I was a kid I want tattoos, I need to have a tattoo. And it ended up being my second tattoo actually, but the whole way through basic training was about 6 months. I did doodles upon doodles upon doodles trying to figure out what I was going to do, and this is the one that I settled on. So it's definitely one that if I didn't have it, it would feel, my arm would definitely feel empty.
I got this one, which is actually the Celtic friendship knot. Me and my friends, my 2 best friends from high school, got matching ones before I moved to Ohio from Alabama. They were my best friends for 7 years.
I have a heart with a peace sign pierced through it, and I drew it in study hall in 9th grade, and I got it when I was about 15 years old.
My largest recent one is Betty White. Takes up the entire side of my thigh as a vampire. And yes, she knows about it because I work with her agent. So why Betty White? Because she is the most amazing woman in entertainment, and she's got to be immortal like a vampire because she's never going to die.
I personally have just, since I was a kid, wanted to be completely covered in color. So, I mean, I'm an artist myself. I'm not a tattoo artist, but I personally am an artist, so I feel like it's a way for me to kind of be living canvas to display my own art or display art of tattoo artists. I've had a couple tattoos done by artists where they specifically drew the tattoos for me. So I'm kind of like a walking billboard a little bit.
There are plenty of tattoos that I want. I'm just getting started. I've got about 26 now. I'm actually working on sleeving my right arm out. It's all bands so far. As far as tattoos in memoriam to any kind of people, I'm not really close enough to anybody in my life to where I want to get a memoriam tattoo of anybody. But my back piece, which is going to be my last and final piece, I plan on getting a tribute to my favorite fallen rock stars that have died that have meant something to me in my life.
I've still got space on my body, so hopefully Seth can take care of that for me.
I've been collecting tattoos for a little bit now. I've covered up, I've put it up, and now I finally found 2 real good tattoo artists.
My mom finally called me one of my first tattoos when I was 17. I probably had 4. So she made me promise I wasn't going to get new ones. So I promised I would only finish the ones that were pre-existing. Pre-existing translates to pretty much like chicken pox because they just spread and spread and spread. Tattoos don't make the person makes the tattoo.